Yo. Oh, turn on the light. We're going in. Not waiting for the ads to stop. Turn on the light. We're going in. Oh, you can hear. What? Not waiting for the ads to stop. I had my own channel up somewhere. Oops. Anyway. Thank you for joining me. Favorite. Forgot I was wearing it. We're just gonna go in on this. I don't know what the hell else I would do with the sideboard. It seems fine. This is our Yorion Goblins list from the other day. We played a blue-white control match with it. We have a whole bunch of main deck tutor targets. We have 4 ringleaders. We have as much combo as we can get. We have 2 Battlecry Goblins, 4 Ephemerates. I don't think I want to move around any of these numbers because a lot of the stuff I want to see, I'm already maxed out on it. And I don't know of any more silver bullets. Maybe we want another Den of the Bugbear, but maybe we don't even want our 30th land. Why we're just going in like this. So let's see how it is. I doubt this is going to be... I don't want to... What's the opposite of jinx it? Like, downplay it by saying we're probably not going to do good, but it is almost... It's 11:30 here, and this deck might take forever to play every game because it's a Yorion deck. So, I don't know. This may not be the 5-0 stream. I may just get frustrated and an 0-2 drop. We'll see. But we're in match 1 right now. We're playing against Rad MC. That's a Brushwag, right? The almighty Brushwag, Rad MC. And reveal Yorion, which affects the way your opponent mulligans. They are never going to expect this hand. And given the Pyre of Heroes giving us just outs to every kind of game we could want to play, and this saving us in, you know, all of the mid-range games, this seems fine. Like Mog Fanatic into Pyre of Heroes becomes Snoop, then Munitions Expert into Boggart Harbinger becomes Boggart Harbinger. So like, you could theoretically combo with this turn 4. So like, it's really not even that slow as far as combo games. So if they're Titan, they still have it with this hand that looks like it's the mid-range and a half hand. Blue-white. This could be Control, this could be Hammer. Control is obviously one of our great matchups. I want to get rid of it. We're just gonna lead on can we lead on Basic Mountain or Sacred Foundry? We don't know if our life total matters yet. Let's lead on just Basic Mountain Mog Fanatic. And I actually just shouldn't auto yield with Mog Fanatic in play. 3 point of damage could count. So I'll use the 2 pass until response. That's the hotkey. They're shocking in, which means they may do something here. I'll just concede. Or op. They're a Wafo-Tapa. They're a Wafo-Tapa convert. I like the eyeball on the back of this guy's head though. I don't think I've ever seen this. Alright, so they have Counterspell up. Means I'm not going to play this Pyre of Heroes, especially since I can't even activate it. So we're going to attack for 1. I'll play probably Sacred Foundry tapped so they don't know I'm playing black even yet. And just play this Mog Fanatic. Oh no, I guess if I don't... They're not going to counter this Mog Fanatic, are they? I would love it if they did, but I could make it so they can never counter it. Is Wafo-Tapa's list... I usually don't check this sort of thing, but it's like you kind of know that they're on a specific list with that opt instead of consider even. So like, do they generally play, like, where is this? This one has think twice. Why I don't do it. Do they generally play Spreading Seas is my question. And I think the answer is yes, because it's just so good against... Wow, none of these have opt in them. What's going on? All right, we're done looking. I don't look. You think definitely? How's it going, Dragon Fodder? Which means I don't want to expose Cavern of Souls yet. I want to resolve the ringleader badly enough that I will play around Spreading Seas when they're showing Counterspell. That's what I figure. I don't know if they play it out of the board or main, but I know it's good against like basically everything that's good against them, so why wouldn't they be playing it? So this is Archmage's Charm almost for sure. I don't want to let them draw 2 cards, but like Pyre of Heroes is so good, but I don't need the Pyre of Heroes to win. So maybe we just like play Pyre of Heroes, play Blood Crypt tapped. And then that means they can't draw 2 with their Archmage's Charm, which is like half a win, you know? 1 for 1ing when you can draw 4. Pretty good. Wow, they just are no counter spells. I wonder what's going on here. Must be a Supreme Verdict? But then why wouldn't you counter Pyre of Heroes? Yeah, I can imagine Ringleader into Ephemerate being fantastic. Have to be careful to play around like Solitudes. Gonna be good. Four mana. They've played only 2 opts. They have 6 cards in hand. They've already played their land for the turn. Mystic Gate. They have a Supreme Verdict. They could cast it and go to 12. What is this? Teferi? Teferi? No. Arch of Otherworldly Light. I see. So this is why they haven't countered anything, because they're all creatures and their hand is full of this inefficient removal. That's what's going on here. But I agree with you, CPB, that it was weird. That it did smell like Verdict. And now that I see that, I remember all prismatic endings and like, you know, March of Otherworldly Lights over there, I'm guessing, just because very hard to cast those on Mog Fanatic and feel good about it. And they're sort of expensive. So we draw 3, we attack for 4. We're at a virtual 8 life. We have a pretty good hand. Next turn, we can play Aether Vial and Chain Whirler uncounterably if they like, you know. Chain Whirler is actually a pretty decent follow-up to them playing Teferi. That's a sick Demonic Tutors. Oh, I've never seen that before. It's very clean looking. Let's see. What have you got? I'm all like oriented for I was just playing Apex. Why I'm so awake right now. I play Apex and now going ganja. All right, so if this isn't a Solitude, I don't know what is. But we have the answer so that Solitude can't block anything, and we have the Ephemerate. So we already revealed all of these, so there's like no issue killing them again. We're gonna attack, nothing has haste. And I think we're just gonna wreck them here when they try to flash in Solitude. They're gonna target Ringleader. Going to affect. Ringleader comes back. Be a million things, 2 Kiki-Jikis among them. Kill Solitude so we get through and they don't get life. They take 2. I can just play Mog War Marshal because it survives a verdict. I kind of like that because I don't have any hasters except Kiki. But I also kind of want to play Aether Vial. So let's just play Aether Vial. Solve it while we can. That Ephemerate is coming back, by the way. This turn is proof that this deck is the best in the format. Yeah, I don't think so, but it's definitely very cool. The problem is that, like, we were already really good against blue-white control, and we just, like, made our blue-white control matchup even better. But I'm not sure that unfortunately we're not going to get to Ephemerate anything with the rebound, but that's obviously not a huge deal. I'm not sure that just making your best matchup a little bit better is really worth it. If we really wanted to, we could have stacked these in the other order so this thing didn't stay exiled, and maybe I should have, because we don't have a Goblin Dark Dwellers in the main anymore though. So they do have Counterspell Magic up. We can vial something in. I think I'm just gonna take them to take them to 5. We can, like, dare them to counter this, but I don't even think we need to do that, because, like, Mog Fanatic plus Kiki-Jiki actually may win us the game. Just, like, copying them. Turn was really sweet. I won't deny that. If this is another Solitude, they had best cast it now. Although they can't leave up Counterspell and cast Solitude, which is pretty good for us, if you ask me. I was glad we got that Aether Vial down. As I'm watching it tick up to 2 here, I'm feeling pretty good about that. 5 mana, all blue. Did they just accidentally do? Yeah. Looks like they're going to filter that to white. Teferi. Okay, Teferi happens. So before they can untap their lands, I'm gonna knock this Teferi down to 3. I think it's relevant just because it means if they want a -3, it dies. I think that's worth it. So not play more Solitudes is afraid to get ephemerated. Maybe you're right. It's a scary thing. We are 1 short of lethal here. Actually, no, we just have lethal attackers. We're not going to attack this Teferi, but they'll have 3 mana. I don't know what they can do with it. I guess they can march something. They could march this, and then this still kills them. Here we'll keep them in line. How appropriate. Well, that's just good. We're going to try to attack. They could Solitude something. Obviously, Sling Gang plus Mog War Marshal is, like, lethal on its own. So, literally does not matter what happens here. We are hoping they tap out, right? Oh, we're also hoping that they just die, but tapping out is like... The ham would call that the hook lock. Because the hook lock can be anything. You can trick them. Snapcaster into what? Opt? March? Snapcaster into Opt, looking for Solitude, I guess. Again, we're just gonna let whatever they want to happen because it doesn't matter. It's gonna cost them mana or cards or something. Why am I playing this version of Ring? Oh, you're totally right. I forgot. I mentioned it yesterday on stream. I wonder if you can change it between games, because, like, you still technically own all the cards. I know you can ping the snap CPB. It's like garbage time. Like, that's what Spike would call it. But like it doesn't, it literally does not matter what we do here. Like, we're gonna have 3 goblins in play and they cannot stop this from resolving. So wasting your brain power thinking about that is just, it's not worth it at all. It can't stop us. There are no free spells, there are no nothings. So I mean, I guess they could have subtletied theoretically, but they pitched subtlety, they're not winning that game either, right? Yeah, we caught it at the same time, but really it's not an out. So they're playing some number of Snapcasters. It's like sometimes worth it to bring in Rest in Peace for that. And Goblin Dark Dwellers is like infinite value with an Ephemerate. I'm gonna bring that in. Maybe just 1 Rest in Peace. That's what I did yesterday. But we're, like I'm saying, we're pretty much pre-boarded for this. I'll take out a Munitions Expert and like, I guess you could take out a Harbinger. Doesn't really matter. Maybe you just take out 2 Harbingers, but we're obviously fine as is. Chain Whirler, I could see you taking out Chain Whirler, but it's a good beater. And I don't think bringing in, or like, yeah, this one, so admittedly, I was like very low on Munitions Expert the last time I built this Yorion Goblins deck because I wasn't playing Mog Fanatic and I was just getting wrecked by Blue-Red Murktide, and I was just like, we want something that deals 2 damage all the time. So now there's 2 things that that have like changed that. Number 1 is Mog Fanatic, which like makes Munitions Expert so much better than it even sounds like it would. But the other thing, oh, can I keep this? I think I can. Like, this game is gonna go forever. I get a but you can't. You can't keep Vile on 1 against a 1-land Vile hand against a white deck. We have to mulligan. This is better. Not great. It's better. I actually would almost rather have Dark Dwellers than Trash Master, but it's just so expensive. So this hand is not good, but whatever. It's out of the board. The Dark Dweller. It's to just in matchups where it could go on forever and you could conceivably fall behind on cards. You just like you Ephemerate. You cast Ephemerate from the yard, and like you never have to worry again about card advantage. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so I was really low on Munitions Expert, so I had Flame Tongue Yearling, the mini Kavu in here, and I also had what's the name, Restoration Angel. There was only 1 copy, but like if we're just gonna play 4 Mog Fanatics, like then everything else just becomes a 4 of. Like Battlecry Goblin and War Marshal play so well together, and I think like I'm just supposed to do nothing. But now that it's all goblins, Ringleader is even better than it was, so running 4 makes more sense. Alright, so here's the thing. I'm tempted to play as Munitions Expert so I could resolve Battlecry Goblin, but like, what am I doing with the resolved Battlecry Goblin, right? I just really need lands. This is gonna go really poorly if I don't draw lands. Yield until the end step. So here they are leaving open 4 mana, which could be Cryptic Command. I don't have to make a move. Mog Fanatic's fine. I'll throw a Mog Fanatic. Would love to draw Cavern. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, Dragon Fodder. It's a recipe for disaster. 2 vials is one thing. Is like, you know, not only do they have to have 2 answers for Vial, but you know, you also have to not draw land. But 1 lander plus Vial is so risky now because of Teferi and Archmage's Charm also just being like, okay, but you only get your Vial to turn 3, right? So what are we really doing with it? Like, it's very good. There's no question that it's good. And forcing them to play Teferi to tick down while you have pressure on board is one thing as well. Like, that's worth it. But in a 1-lander, you probably can't get a lot of pressure on board, right? So I don't like keeping the 1-land Vial hands, especially against white decks. But on the draw against basically any deck, you don't want to keep, because discard. There's really no deck at this point that can't answer your Vial, because even the green decks are playing Boseiju. So, like, blue-red decks have Prismari, blue-white decks have Prismatic, blue decks in general have Teferi. I want to draw a land, but if I'm going to play Matron, I'd like to resolve it. I could just do nothing, but this is Archmage's Charm. So, like, they probably have just a regular-ass counterspell, but I'm gonna make them use their Archmage's Charm if I can. And if not, I get a 1/1. I'm very afraid of Ephemerate. That's one way to look at what happened. All right, so that's a win for us. Like, we would have also basically drawn a card off of Goblin Matron. It's more or less an even trade, and we're okay with that, especially, I mean, I wish we were making land drops, but in the long run, I don't think that that's a bad call, and they're not making this land drop, so that's kind of important. That Archmage's Charm definitely would have helped them make that land drop, right? So, Mog Fanatic, here comes. It's gonna pass the turn with the Mog Fanatic, hold up Munitions Expert. Snapcaster Mage, Prismatic ending, you think? They can't. It's gonna be opt, right? If they tap out of opt, do I just kill Snapcaster? Or tap out of counterspell? Like, is it even worth it? No, I'd rather eat up their mana to maybe resolve, like, a Matron. Because who knows what they're about to play. They're looking for a land. They scryed one and they put it on the bottom. So, who knows if they found that land. Let's see. This is exactly the type of matchup I was not hoping to find at midnight. Even though it's like the best matchup we've got. I think I just kill Snapcaster. I don't think there's... They could theoretically bounce it with Teferi, which would suck for us. I think I'm just going to put this into play. Like, there's nothing I'm answering. They let me resolve it. Now I have 1 point of power in play. And do I even... I know that they're stuck on lands. There's probably an Archmage's Charm over there. I'm also stuck on lands. I can just put Yorion in my hand, though. Put Yorion in my hand. I almost forgot that I had that card. Need another white mana to cast Yorion. Yeah, and this is going to be Archmage's Charm. No, it's Dress Down. Okay. Dress Down is so good against us. I have no idea what to do. That's the first time I've ever played around it, and it was by accident. I run so many high-value goblins Dress Down. Crazy. Because you're like... It's in some ways it's better than a counter spell. In some ways it's worse. Like, yeah, it leaves us with a 2/2, but they draw a card. You know what I mean? 2 mana counter target spell, draw a card is pretty nuts. Yeah, they really want lands. They really want land. They probably have like a couple 5 mana cards in hand, and they don't want to pitch cast anything. There's the Hall of the Storm Giants, so we kind of should make a move here. They're casting Jace? Okay, they cast Jace. Are you going to bounce my Munitions Expert, I wonder? I hope I draw land. If I draw land, I can just kill Jace straight up, right? They're going to Fate Seal me so that I don't draw lands. But I'll tell you what they do, because I know you can't see it. They choose not to use it, which means they left it on top, which means it's not a land. Right? Just like my guess. Mob Fanatic. Do I just dump these into play? I think I do, but do I attack Jace? They're not going to brainstorm, like, who cares? If that's their plan... I mean, I imagine there's a Solitude in hand, right? Can Goblin Matron find me anything that's, like, really breaks this game wide open? No. I could just put something on top and have a lot of pressure next turn with this Boggart Harbinger, but I want to draw land. Alright, let's make it so that they have to make a move. There's no way they're not going to Supreme Verdict, though. But, like, if they Supreme Verdict, I can resolve other things. I don't... Attack Jace. Like, if they Brainstorm and Supreme Verdict, there's no way I kill this Jace next time. I think I just have to attack them. Yeah, I think we're on the same wavelength, me and the opponent. Like, we're looking at across the table and saying, like, oh, you're stuck on lands. I hope I can, like, keep it that way. And this is, like, sort of excessive, like, but if they just have a handful of cards that they love, I could see there being no reason to brainstorm, right? Like, I assume they have Supreme Verdict here, and I gave them a little bit of value. Oh, maybe they don't have it because they're brainstorming. Ten cards in hand over there. Crazy. Will this game come down to decking? Probably not, because of Hall of the Storm Giants. It kills you so fast. Although you can just block it. So, like, Sling Gang Lieutenant, if they don't find Supreme Verdicts, can do a lot of work. Land off the top here would be so good. I think I would just, like, attack. Oof. Alright, well, we're just gonna attack. And I assume we're gonna get Solituded here off of our Battlecry Goblin, so I'm not gonna pump. If I attack Jace, it goes to 1. Which is, like, enticing now that they're brainstorming. Take him to 9. If I take him to 9 and they flash in Solitude, I still have a board. Like, they'll hit my Battlecry Goblin, but I'll be fine. But I'll have to kill the Solitude so they don't gain life if I'm taking that plan. Let's just attack Jace. We can win this game over the top. Let's do that. So here comes Solitude. Not Solitude. What the hell is this? Arch of Otherworldly Light. I can make it for 4 and actually kill Jace. Or I can hit this Jace right now, and they can counter me. I'd rather do something uncounterable. They can pitch cast Solitude if they want. This Jace is gonna die. I'll sack the Mog Fanatic to kill Jace. And like, I have 7 cards in hand. They have 6. If I draw lands, especially a Cavern of Souls, like I'm gonna take this game. So I'm okay with this. Their hand is likely all these 1-for-1s, and they probably only have a few Supreme Verdicts. Like that's why I've seen these decks built. So gonna be Solitude? Can't be Solitude with that mana. Teferi. All right, you got it. Teferi goes up to 5. They're gonna have Archmage's Charm mana. I can't really effectively pressure this Teferi with what I've got right now, which is a problem. I will not lie. Need lands. Please, lands. Munitions Expert is not exactly what I wanted. I think I have to hit this Teferi and start trying to resolve Munitions Experts. They're already at 7 cards in hand. I don't really care that they're drawing an extra card. Oh, damn. I can't play this Boggart Harbinger until I draw a 4th land anyway, so we're just going to discard that. Because once you draw the 4th land, you're just like, oh, please let me draw the 5th land. And once you draw the 4th land, you have plenty of stuff to play. So these games are tough to navigate once you get to this end game against blue-white, but it's certainly possible. Yield until the end step? Like, I don't want to... Like, they know I'm not going to ephemerate this. Right? And now I'm going to try and cast one. We'll see if they let it happen or not. Nab this Teferi for 2. They let that happen. All of Storm Giants is a 7/7 with Ward 3. I can't possibly play Ward 3, pay Ward 3 anytime soon. Rugged Prairie is a decent draw. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do I care if they block 1 Munitions Expert? No. So I'm gonna hope that they activate all of the Giants and attack their Teferi. I think I just play this and pass. Yeah, I'm like okay with where this game is at right now. Like it doesn't bother me that they're winning on cards. They don't really have a way to beat me. Yet. This Hall of Storm Giants is scary, I'm not gonna lie. But like if they attack with it, I can do a lot of scary things to them. So I don't know if they're gonna attack with it. Supreme Verdict here. So I could cast Munitions Expert right now and kill Teferi. And it's like, did they use him already? Yeah, they did. I'd like to see if they counter it, because like that's a win for me if they counter this with a Supreme Verdict on the stack. Now, they may have another Teferi. They have 8 cards in hand. But doesn't look like it. Do I just pass here? I wonder if I just pass. Want a decent draw. I think I'm just going to pass. Although, if I pass... well, I already did it. But if I pass, I'm just like... resigning to taking 7 from Hall of the Storm Giants, but I actually am okay with that, like I said. If they tap out, I get some good stuff in play. Solitude kind of sucks. It's not that we can't deal with it. Doesn't mean we're taking 10, though. I am behind on cards right now, and I think the Trash Man is really good in combination with the Sling Gang Lieutenant to get in for a lot of damage quickly. And like it costs them nothing. Like they would have just solituded it, right? So it cost them like pretty much nothing to hit the Trash Man there, with most of the cards. So like I think it was okay to pass. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. 24 cards left in the library. Pyre of Heroes is good, so I'm gonna try to resolve Pyre of Heroes rather than Matron. So we're gonna play Matron. I'm assuming it's getting countered. Then I'm gonna try to play Pyre of Heroes, and that's probably gonna get countered too. And then they're probably gonna crack us for 10 with Solitude plus Hall of the Storm Giants, and this game will be over more or less. But we'll see. All right, Pyre of Heroes is good. Now any goblin is really deadly to them unless they answer this Pyre. But if they crack us for 10, it is something. Something Teferi allows them to do. Okay, so they march it. Something Teferi allows them to do is to activate Hall and then still have counterspell mana up. So the Teferi is very important to kill, especially when they already have this in play. But they look like they don't care much about that, even though they have 8 minutes left on their clock. Which is a little surprising, I'll be honest. I'm going to play Sling Gang this turn, I think. Yeah, I'm going to play Sling Gang because if it resolves, that's great. If it doesn't, I still have this Ringleader as a follow-up next turn. Okay. We can Yorion to blink it. So, like, this dress down isn't the end of the world. I think I would take 10, believe it or not, instead of blocking. So I don't know. They're going to double Solitude us? Nope, they're going to Scry. Hard to just do nothing? Do you mean like hard to win the game after doing nothing, or it's just like actually hard to be that patient? Because that's the truth. It's very hard to be that patient. But the correct move is usually to do nothing. The access that the game is won on rarely speed, and so like I'm kind of buying time until I draw like a Cavern of Souls, right? Like if I draw a Cavern of Souls, this game is way different. Let's see if this Aether Vial resolves. Aether Vial resolves. Let's see if Sling Gang resolves again. Sling Gang is not resolving. I think I'm dead now, right? I should be dead. They have 6.5 minutes on their clock, even if they do kill me with this Hall. So it's going to be very difficult for them to win game 3, I think, considering how long it took them to win this game. Oh, we're not even dead. Let's see if we can survive, I guess. We're not like 0%. Like I'm saying, a Cavern helps. And if we get Cavern into Mog Fanatic or something like that, into a couple Mog Fanatics, we can have 2 blockers. There's Cavern. There's step 1. Black, red. So this is uncounterable. Mog Fanatic would also be uncounterable. Found Mog War Marshal instead, which may be what kills us, but I mean, we're probably dead anyway. Just gonna pass. We have 1 million blockers now. I guess they could Supreme Verdict and then Hall the Storm Giant us, but we still have Mog War Marshal if they do that. So can this... They could Supreme Verdict and then Teferi our token. This Supreme Verdict at instant. Okay. Still have Mog Fanatic, or we still have the token. They have 15 cards left in their library. Teferi ult incoming. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We can't beat a Teferi ult. I would concede. So they just fire up this Hall, right? They fire up the Hall, I'm dead. I'm clearly hovering over concede. But they're gonna waste time into Teferi ult. And what am I supposed to do about that? Just fire it up. I'm not going to waste your time with the attacks. It's just show me you see it. Apparently they don't see it. Why? Why do this? Oh, I guess I could have viled in a Mog Fanatic. They don't know these 2 cards in my hand. Just fire up the Hall of the Storm Giants. Just do it. What is this? How are you going to do this in the red? All right, there it is. It's like, it's a little bit surprising that they went through all that. We're fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with the way we played it. I don't think, I mean, I guess you could put in Crib Swap, but it's weird. Yeah, I'm okay with all this. Imagine viling in Sting Scourger for a Hall of the Storm Giants, then paying Ward. Deal Yorion. We'll keep anything with 2 lands. Crib Swap is really not. I don't know how else to put it. It's like, here we get a Blood Crypt. Crib Swap is like for Reanimator type things. It's not like the best, but it's not terrible. And obviously we just want to draw lands again. Yeah, it's decent versus Murktide. It's decent versus the big stuff, right? I am just gonna play this. We want this game to go as long as possible. I don't believe that they can possibly even go through the motions to win in 4 minutes, but maybe. Here comes March on this Aether Vial. Fine. Kind of expected it. Land, please. Land it is. I guess I'm gonna play Chain Whirler. I could just play Snoop, but I'm gonna use all my mana. And like Chain Whirler is a decent follow-up to a Teferi, but like they could bounce my Chain Whirler with Teferi and then I replay it, and that's also a decent follow-up. Like, who knows what they're gonna do. Nothing. They got nothing. So I'm imagining there's like Prismatic Ending. Not gonna play the Snoop this turn. I don't think there's a reason to. Into open mana, we have a 3/3 in play. Opt. This actually, maybe it wasn't right to keep up Rugged Prairie Blood Crypt because you don't threaten a Munitions Expert. You do still threaten an Ephemerate, but there's their 4th land. Archmage's Charm mana just sitting over there at the ready. Ephemerate sitting at the ready too. I am going to play Snoop now because I have Ephemerate to protect it. Munitions Expert with Vial on 2 is going to be very good. You think they're going to take my Vial? So the other day I was playing off stream, bluffing double Ephemerate. Yeah, that was why I left it up. The other day I was playing against a blue-red Murktide player and they were like clearly losing. And I always check with Archmage's Charm if they're targeting me. And obviously nobody ever targets me. This is fine. I kind of wish I wasn't drawing that Munitions Expert now, but it's okay. I think I'm just going to play Pashlik Mons, because if they do that again and I draw a land... Oh, why am I in the upkeep step? If they do that again and I draw a land, I can just slam this Ringleader. I think. I don't know. Like, again, they have 3 minutes to win, and they would need to find Hall of the Storm Giants right now, I think, for the fastest win. Anyway, I told the blue-red player that nobody ever targets me with Archmage's Charm, and then they did it, and I still lost. Well, they did it and conceded, and then I lost after that. The fairy bounces that. Obviously, I have this. They knew about it. Fairy, so we don't have to worry about it. 3 damage in play. They can Prismatic Ending this Pashlik Mons, but it'll cost them 2 life. Actually, no, it won't cost them. They already have him out. Double Ephemerate. Who said I was bluffing double Ephemerate? Because now I'm representing it, not just bluffing anymore. So the card that I'm trying to protect, are they going to Archmage's Charm my Aether Vial? Oop, they're just going to... Seven cards in hand. 7 mana. I assume there's a Solitude over there, and they were going to cast it just like straight up. Then decided against it. Double Ephemerate will actually do a lot. Man, just not drawing lands, though. 30 not enough? So they're going to try to block my... So they're going to do this. And I guess I just have to... I can cast it with... Are they going to counterspell this? That's funny. Glad I have the second one. Yeah, I'm just going to save the Pashlik Mons. I know they gain life, but they actually... Their Solitude dies if they block this Munitions Expert, so... That will be the one time that they're gaining life. And eventually we'll draw a land. I think within a minute and a half, I would say. Maybe not. Fairy, bounce Pashlik. Implies a ton of counter magic, right? I'm not going to play into that counter magic. Ephemerate doesn't matter. Pick up. Bloodstained Mire, not bad. Not playing into the counter magic, though. Just going to wait. Pretty sure we have this game in the bag because of the 1 minute. But again, you never know. They're drawing, they're looking for their 7/7 land. I think I want to yield until end that. They march it. I don't want to draw lands anymore. So I am gonna thin. I should have got Savai Triome. Actually, maybe I don't get Savai Triome because like I could cycle it. Yeah, there you go. Don't really want the 5th land right now. Kind of just looking for Cavern of Souls. Are they targeting me? No. 35 seconds. Yeah. All right. So we obviously made a bunch of like suboptimal decisions because we knew that they couldn't finish the game. But when you're playing a control deck, and that is what Goblins is, in the control mirror, 101 like victory is a real thing that happens in tournaments all the time. You got to be aware of it. Yeah, someone tells me So we take game 1 and then make it really hard for them to win game 2. That's how you do it in paper. In online, they can just run out of their clock even if they win game 2. So 1-0, 2-0 in our last 2 games, both against blue-white control. One of the best matchups for this deck. Both likely won because it takes so long for them to beat us that they just can't manage it. We did actually win 2-1 yesterday, but they were making bad decisions because they're under time pressure. And it just happens like so often against blue-white that they gave me the hello, good luck, have fun, which supposedly is 100% of the time Blood Moon. There you go. They revealed Gobbage. You keep this hand. I mean, a lot of people get very afraid of, we're going to fetch a swamp with this before they can get to 3 mana. But a lot of people get very afraid of Skirk Prospector. When you play it, they just don't know what's going on. I agree with you, Dragon Fodder, and all of the arguments I've seen for it, including the ones by that judge, Hayashi, whatever, he wrote a whole article on it once. They're just bad arguments. They imply that like shortcuts don't exist and like that people aren't like slamming chess clocks back and forth at light speed in chess games. Like, I think do we just kill this, or do I just play Snoop? You can do it. You can definitely do it. It's really not that big a deal. You know how often you just look to your opponent for an answer? Like, and then they decide, like, all right, I'll give you an example. People always say things like, what are you going to do? Press the chess clock on every priority pass? And it's like, obviously that's not what I'm going to do. Because that's not how you play Magic. It's not actually how Paper Magic is played. It's how you do it on Magic Online, but it's not how Paper Magic is played. You can draw your card for turn and just say go, and then your opponent can decide first main, second main, end step. This is where I want to stop. So you just draw your first card for turn, they go and hit the chess clock, and now they go, okay, second main or end step, do this. And then they hit the chess clock again. You don't need to pass it on every single priority phase. It's never how Magic. So I think it's feasible, and a lot of the arguments against it are just like, it's more things to bring around, which sucks. I feel like a pack mule already. So this is Death Shadow. I feel like a pack mule already when I go to a Magic tournament, which I hate. I'm actively trying to avoid. And that would only make it worse. So like, are they gonna bolt my munitions expert? That would kinda suck, but I guess I would still have Skirk. Push it? Is that what's going on? Path it? Please path it. Okay, they pending my my prospector. Back it just to pretend we have graveyard stuff. Yeah, like, it's a skill, the hitting the clock and time management and all of that, but claiming that it's not feasible for tournament play, I think it's like, it's not honest. That's my opinion. Like, yeah, people would have to get used to it. Yeah, it's an expense. Know that. I definitely want to draw this, right? But I do need to be able to play Womp if it comes to that. Not that I see them going for a Blood Moon, given the makeup of their lands, but I think it's totally possible. Like, I remember reading the article. It was like, the amount of times I forgot to hit the clock and my opponent just sat there looking at me. Like, Yeah, that happens. That happens in chess too. Like, that happens. I'm not telling you you're gonna get it perfect. And it's just another skill to add to the game. But yeah, it's different. And people don't like different. So I guess we're just gonna thin as much as possible, because they're not gonna counter us. We can't currently even come close to casting a Yorion. So I am going to grab a Plains. Make blue mana to assert our dominance. And make all the other mana we're capable of. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it would be a problem once people were used to it. And I don't think that it's like... I don't think it's that much of a burden, especially with cell phones these days. Like... You don't need a chess clock, even though it's really nice to have that chunky thing to hit. You could use a cell phone. They're gonna like just slam like 3 Death Shadows here, and we're gonna be like, well, I guess I'll just play Ringleader and hope to draw 4 cards. I think you could do it, and I think maybe. I don't know how much time you put on a chess clock is one of the things. Like, if you have a 50-minute round, right? Or a 55-minute round. I think they're usually 55. Do you give both players 25 minutes, or do you give both players a little bit more than that? You know what I mean? You don't really want to do increments, but you could do like 20 minutes with a 2-second increment, right? Or something like that. It's tough to know. But I don't think it's impossible. Did I thin? No, because I want to get a Savai Triumph with this. All right. Well, I guess I could still thin. All right, let's thin. Oh, no, because if I hit Mog Fanatic, I'm going to wish I hadn't done this. Fuck. This time we're making black instead of asserting our dom. They're at 7 life. They have Teamer Battle Rage. We can't ever beat it, really, so not going to block. That Battlecry Goblin is looking pretty scary. Definitely threatening lethal next turn. You can play Battlecry Goblin, pump it, and then pump it 2 more times. But is it better to play Snoop and Battlecry Goblin and then pump once? Probably not. I'll do the math if it comes down to it. With 3 cards in hand, I'm taking anything. No matter how they attack, I'm taking it all. Ooh, wait. Do I let Ragavan hit me? 8, 9, 10, 11, 15. I lose to double bolt. Just Ragavan. Ragavan? I think I do block just Ragavan. Because I can just play Snoop plus Chain Whirler. I think I block just Ragavan. Down to 6. Put Obosh in their hand. Obosh only makes red cards do more? Your starting deck contains... Yeah, if a source you control with an odd mana value would deal damage to a permanent player, it deals double that damage. Okay, so this is basically lethal when they play Obosh next turn, so I do need a bunch of blockers. Mog Fanatic is good for that. Our mana is a little bit awkward here. I'm not going to lie. Black-white. Not the best. I was afraid of Blood Moon, and I probably shouldn't have been. So let's play Snoop. We can still play 3 goblins, so it's not that bad. I don't think I had lethal there. Oh, I should have definitely checked, though. If I played Battlecry Goblin and Mog Fanatic, and then I pump once, I attack for... If this was Battlecry Goblin, this would be 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, but they would block 2 of them. Yeah, so it wasn't lethal. It wasn't even close. We are very much threatening lethal here on the crackback. Can't ever beat Teamer Battle Rage plus Obosh. That's like, it's a wild combo. Oh, you can't play Teamer Battle Rage because you're playing Obosh. Thank God. Thank God. I need to go just get water instead of this. No reason I should be drinking. Back. I left my glass, even though I said I'd be right back. Pastel response. What happened? What happened? Ragavan cast with dash, that's fine. No Obosh, that's good too. Do I even care about this Ragavan? What can they draw off my deck? They could draw Ephemerate for Ranger Captain. Oh, they're just taking the Pyre of Heroes. I just straight up don't care about this. I guess they get a treasure, but that just allows them to play 2 blockers, which I don't think is enough. This I just definitely don't care about. If they have Bolt, they have Bolt. They're going to kill my Battlecry Goblin one way or another. So, go ahead, play a Pyre of Heroes. Do it. Just do it. That was a weird play, to be honest. I'm like clearly threatening a whole ton of damage. So now I have to assume this is 2 removal spells, right? How many times do I need to pump to make sure this is definitely lethal? And do I play Chain Whirler or Ringleader? Probably Chain Whirler, right? And then I can pump twice. Yeah. I'm using all my caverns because they can't be used to, they can't be used for this Battlecry Goblin's ability. We will pump once. We will go to combat. All right. Obosh means Pyre can never be good, funnily. Yeah, that's very true. Obosh just says you cannot be a pod deck, which is interesting. Do you play Furies in a matchup like this? I'm not sure. Warren Weirding is like, then not good. It's like decent. This is another one of those matchups where like we're pre-boarded just fine, so I kind of just want to board lightly. I don't think Crib Swap necessary for what? For like a big Death Shadow? I think we're just trying to block a big Death Shadow. I don't think I want to spend 3 mana to kill one and give them a 1/1. Like, this is like desperate Crib Swap. This is like super desperate. Because you're like likely matroning for it. I don't know. But it is, if I'm boarding in Crib Swap, I definitely board in Goblin Dark Dwellers. I think I'd rather have Warren Weirding than Crib Swap. Because all of their creatures are good. And then, I don't know if Fury is necessary. The only, like, I guess you could kill Ragavan plus Ranger Captain, but then you have this big Ephemerate upside. I think their stuff is just like a little too big. Is Obosh? Oh, is Obosh a 5/3? Would make. Oops. 3/5. So Fury doesn't even kill Obosh. If I bring in this crib swap, combo is pretty bad here. I won't lie. Yeah, it couldn't have any even numbers in it, and I just figured it was more aggressive. But 5/3 dies to Bolt. It would suck. We'll try this crib swap out. They can't play Torpor Orb, so do I care about this Trash Master? Probably not. I mean, it can push a bunch of damage at the end, but so many other things can do that too. I think I'll board out this Trash Master. I would rather play any of these 4-drops over the Trash Master. And Chain Whirler, it sounds really stupid, but Chain Whirler, like, pinging face seems okay. Ooh, this is, like, kinda bad. This is not good against turn 1 Ragavan. It's good against every other hand they have, though. So, I'm gonna keep it. Turn 1 Ragavan is pretty bad for this. But even then, it's like okay, definitely not turn 1 Ragavan. Even then, it's sort of like coin flippy as to, can I Warren Weirding this? It doesn't really matter unless they equip it. Play Prospector. I think I play Prospector so that Munitions Expert gets a little better. But I could also just play Savai Triome. This Prospector doesn't really matter. I feel like I'm gonna regret playing this Savai Triome. I might also regret not being able to play the rest of my shit on curve. I'll play Savai Triome. That was a tough call. Without the Skirk Prospector in my hand, it's really easy, obviously, but I think they kept a slower hand on the back of this Forge Tender, which, like, the Forge Tender is very scary. So here, I'm going to play Blood Crypt tapped and just play Skirk Prospector. They just kept a removal heavy hand. Boy, does this give them nothing to, right? It may be worth just casting this Warren Weirding now, because you're never gonna... There's basically no other way to kill this Forge Tender other than trying to kill something else. And then, like, what's the difference? You know what I mean? So if I can easily cast this Warren Weirding, gonna. But if they play like a 2... Alright, they just cycle Unearth. Interesting. They're already at 14. Just have to play patient. Okay. That was big right there. No Death Shadows in their hand. That's what that means. Or they're just not really paying attention, but you keep trading damage if you have a Death Shadow in hand, because you need to get to like 10 life, right? So, no Death Shadows in hand. I think I play this Warren Weirding. Could just play Matron, though. I've tons of time. Let's play Matron. Yeah, because I could conceivably play Munitions Expert and Warren Weirding next turn. So let's do this. Let's get a little goblin into play. That can be Ephemerated, that can be Yorion. What shall I search? I guess Battlecry Goblin. We already have Ringleader. And like, just the threat of playing Battlecry Goblin is now always looming. Very difficult for them to tap out now. All right, so they're gonna Thought Seize, but there's a lot of things for them to take here. This is like a really tough hand for them to deal with, I would think. I'm saying all this and then like maybe they, you know, maybe they just slam 6 unbeatable cards, but who knows. Now I could block or just attack, get a 1/1 back, but this is probably a lightning bolt, I guess. I may just pass. Put Yorion in my hand and pass. I don't like that. You think it's 3-drop stuck in hand? I don't know. They do have. You're right that they do have only 2 lands, so there's probably 3 drops stuck in their hand, but like that doesn't mean this isn't lightning bolt, right? So I think I'm gonna Warren Weirding next turn. All right, so here's their 3rd mana. Now this is probably Ranger Captain, like you were saying. I would think it feels good to slam a Ranger Captain on this board, even though I don't think it is good here. I think we have plenty of answers for it. It probably feels good. Yeah, so there's Ranger Captain. They're gonna grab what? Death Shadow, I guess. Death Shadow. They can't play it this turn. They're at 9. Death Shadow is kind of big. I think so. What we do here is we try to kill Ranger Captain with the Munitions Expert. They'll sack Burnt and Forge Tender. Then we can Warren Weirding. That's the plan. So let's do it. Red. Oops. Red, black. Yeah, no, the Captain Sack would be great. I wouldn't even have to use my Warren Weirding. I would just be fine. Yes, we'll use the ability. They just don't do it. Interesting. Well, if that's the case, I can take them to 7. And then how many Death Shadows could they feasibly have in their hand, right? Let's say they play 2 of them. Not in trouble. I just Yorion. Do I want to Warren Weirding? That's the question. I think I do. Because if I find Goblin Dark Dwellers, I can just replay it. There's no way that this Barenton is not going to get value at some point. Me trying to kill stuff. And I think taking them to 7 is good. They should have Ranger Captain just to do it if they were going to let my Munitions Expert kill them, right? But maybe they want me to cast this and this is the hook lock. So my Matron can't deal damage. They go to 8 and not 7. I need to make sure they have F6, so I just undid it. I'm going to play Savai Triumph. Second main. I should have played it first main. Save myself the fear. But so we can play Munitions Expert and Battlecry Goblin this turn, which seems pretty good. Or I can just Yorion. They get back the Ranger Captain. Ah. And now what are they going to do? Get Ragavan? Because they can only play a red card and they need blockers. Nope. Not going to play Ragavan? Oh, well, what did they get? They got another Death Shadow. I think they're dead. I think they're dead. Counterspells don't matter. We could try to kill Death Shadow, but it doesn't really matter. And I think it's safer to try to kill Ranger Captain against a removal spell. So, like, let's play this. Let's play black, red. We have munitions expert, ranger captain. They're gonna sack it, so we can't play non-creature spells this time because they're not gonna make the same mistake twice. We play Battlecry Goblin. So now through one removal spell and one blocker, we do 2, 4, 6. And they go to 2. But we don't die, and they're at 2. I think I want to do that. I know they have another Death Shadow, but I think this is right. If they let me attack, they're at 1. Something neat you can do is make mana with Skirk Prospector when they like try to kill things and block and just pump everything again. They usually block the Battlecry Goblin though, so that's not good enough, but it is an interesting thing. So they shouldn't have let this attack. It was a mistake, but it doesn't really change the math. So that happens. There's no way for us to take advantage of this. So they're gonna go to 1. We have 5 attackers. Now maybe they whip out some kind of hasty thing, makes me regret my entire life here. I just don't think so. I think this is a fine spot to put. I think you're right that you can do that. Yes. Oh, could I have killed them that way, you think? The trigger was still on the stack, so I wouldn't have gotten to pump this, and I would have had to sack this. So we would have done 6 damage. 7 damage. It would have ended up the same, but you are right. You can do that. You declare that you're activating the ability before you pay for it, and then Skirk Prospector is a mana ability, so you're allowed to do that. So the best case scenario for them is like removal, Death Shadow. So if they have push, bolt, Death Shadow, I still have this 1. Right? Oh no, removal, then they block 2. So a hasty threat off the top would kill them in that scenario. Their Death Shadows are 12/12s, but I have a ton of blockers and a flyer. So like, even if I don't kill them this turn, I get them next turn. If I attack with both, that's kind of bad. I think we just play Yorion and pass. Not with Kiki-Jiki. Kiki-Jiki is the haster that we need, right? Red. So now a removal spell. They can only remove 1. Kiki beats for the win. 5 mana, 2/2 haste. Haste. They block Kiki and the 2 experts. Token gets in. I guess they could like just gain life and I'm dead. But I don't know. If you're playing Healing Salve, got it. You did it. All right, 2-0 against 2 really good decks, by the way. Blue White and Gobbage Death Shadow are legit. Does that mean that Yorion Goblins is legit? I doubt it. I mean, you could see there that our companion was actually an out to win the game. And it prevented a lot of the things that they could do to save themselves. Because if they just play... thank you, Dragon Fodder. Tier 1 in my... if they just play, like, generic blockers, and we blink our munitions experts, those blockers die. But it also gets in for 4 in the air. So, like, just being that extra card that we drew on one of those turns, it was good enough. I won't say by itself, but it was good enough. But I've been happy with this deck since pre-Luris ban. It was fine then. It's not good in... It's not as good as Black-Red in combo metas. Because, I mean, you've seen here, we haven't seen a single Snoop Harbinger hand yet. And while, you know, you can tell yourself that 80 cards isn't that different, it's not that different when you're not looking for 2 specific cards. I mean, there was one game where I told you we had a turn 4 combo hand. That was very early. I think it was the very first hand. Yep. Fanatic, Munitions Expert, Pyre of Heroes. So like, you can still combo, and maybe because combo is just so much less likely, you're just supposed to lean away from it. But I think still having it be as possible, as likely as possible, in case you run into Titan, in case you run into Belcher, in case you run into Oops All Spells, I think that that's worth it. So this is a keep. They're playing Gigantha, which I think means Death Shadow these days. It's usually going to involve a tutor, yes. This may be one of those games where it doesn't, though. This Rugged Prairie has been doing work as far as casting Yorion. And that's why we're playing it, because it's like... Ephemerate and Yorion need to be cast. You'll notice we don't have a lot of... this is Death Shadow. We don't have a lot of the concealed courtyards and stuff. And it's because our entire sideboard is like white cards that can't be cast off of those. And I don't want to be sitting here complaining like, oh, I can't cast this. And like, the goblins are going to be castable. Almost everything I gave them perfect information with that. I guess how much I care. Doesn't really matter. I guess it means that they don't have to do Thoughtseize. This is just another Death Shadow deck. I guess it's Grixis Death Shadow. Because it could have been... It could have been just Black-Red, I guess. Isn't... Supposedly, according to Aspiring Spike, this is not a good play. And I'm inclined to agree, but occasionally... It does accelerate them into nonsense like this that really makes you feel bad. I think I would like to find value off of the Snoop. Although Battlecry Goblin is very good in this matchup. I'm just going to play Chain Whirler next turn, right? Unless this is like no longer a 1-1. So... If I block... Do I play Snoop or Battlecry Goblin? With a Ragavan and Dragon's Rage Channeler, the chances of me, like, drawing out this game like we did against the last Death Shadow opponent is pretty low, I think. So I'm willing to trade this Battlecry Goblin or a Ragavan. Giving them 3 mana off of the Ragavan hit. So there is Delirium, right? Because now Mishra's Bauble is the artifact and Ragavan is the creature. Maybe I don't block Ragavan. It's risky. They kept it on top, so this is... I think just to kill Dragon's Rage Channeler, I'm going to take this hit. Oh, that's so bad for me. Well, I guess it's not so bad for me, is it? The 2 mana is what's bad for me, because they can cast an instant pretty low. Yeah, I guess I don't care about this 1-1 because my Battlecry Goblin's a 2/2. I think taking that hit was pretty good. Oops. I did the hard one right. So now they ping me with the Fnatic. I go to 13. They're at 8. Definitely swinging. They go to 6. I think we actually played well there. Like that is a... It feels so knee-jerk to just block Ragavan, don't let them hit you. But the Delirium on that Dragon's Rage channel would have been so much stronger. I'm glad we caught that before making a mistake. So Ragavan with dash, you're going to have 2 treasures. I'm going to be at 11. You can get... If they get Mog War Marshal, I'm a little upset. But I do want to draw a land, so I wouldn't even be that upset. Fire of Heroes, play it, play it, play it, play it, play it, play it. Play it, play it, play it, play it. Okay. No playing it. Yeah, the Battlecry Goblin is really nice. Wonder... I'm just going to swing for 2 and see what they do. And then probably play Matron? You're at 6. Now you're at 4. If I play Matron and they counter it with Drown in the Lock, then they can hit all my 4-drops with Drown in the Lock, which kind of sucks, but I think it's still right to do this. Like, they need to answer this Battlecry Goblin, right? So I don't have removal in my deck that answers Battlecry Goblin. So them with this Ragavan, it can give them more mana, but if they don't have the answer and they hit a land off my deck, which they do, dead if they don't have the answer. Would I rather just put them to 1 though? I kind of would rather just put them to 1 because then Sling Gang kills them. Okay, so they play the Ragavan as a blocker. 1 card left in hand. Means whatever I'm playing is likely going to resolve. They dress down at end step, which is interesting. They only have 1 mana. I guess I just play Trash Master. I mean, the other option is to play Snoop and hope that there's a munitions expert on top, but like, why not just play Trash Master? I could trade this, and then I have a lethal attacker next turn as well, and a lethal Sling Gang. I think I'm going to do that. They can block if they want. I would have had 2 lethal attackers next turn if I didn't, but like, I think I just want to keep them low on resources here. They need 2 cards, and they need to be counterspell, kill spell. All right. So this is the kind of deck that Fury is actually good against, I think. It's not that you like want to overboard, but like the combo isn't even good. So these Harbingers get worse. And then you probably cut a vial, but you're like probably not drawing a vial, so who cares? They could be playing Torpor Orb. I'm gonna leave the Trash Master in. I just gotta shave 1 more thing for these 3 Furies. Oh, I guess they could be playing Murktide? No, they can't be playing Murktide because they have Giganta. Yeah, the Chain Roller has been great every time I cast it. So they're just on Death Shadow and probably Temur Battle Rage, but that's it. I don't care too much about Giganta. They probably have Croxa, but it's not worth it to bring in Rest in Pieces, I don't think. I just have to shave 1 thing. Maybe I just don't bring in every Fury? I just go down to one Harbinger. I think easily one of the worst goblins in my deck. This is when... Nah, I won't even say. But... I'm glad that this deck is doing well on this first-ish outing. I've obviously played Yorion goblins in the past. Never in this configuration. Never in this meta. The basic planes is awkward, but the Fury is really good. So I'm going to throw back Kiki. And I probably, you know, Spike said this a few times, and it's true. Like, your one planes isn't going to make you good against Blood Moon. So, like, should you really be playing it? You know, like, if they Blood Moon you and they cut you off of your Ephemerates, do you really care? It's not like I can cast Yorion under Blood. I should probably just not play this basic planes. Like, all right, well, this sucks for us. Yeah, I think I'm not supposed to play basic plane. Basic swamp, maybe. Because I have, you know, a lot of black cards. But yeah. And I think that's part of the reason, Dragon Fodder, that I did it. Because I don't have to play Mog Fanatic here, but I'm gonna. Get a Blood Crypt. Because I always want to, like, I'm never sure if I want Blood Moon in the board. With this deck, like, it's good. I just don't know if you need it, you know? Here goes the Fury, I guess. Wow, they left me with the Fury? Confident I'm not getting the 5 mana, or do you have another Thoughtseize? This Death Shadow? Okay. This is a little bit scary. Well, that made it so much better. Do I attack here and put them to 10? How different is a 2/2 Death Shadow from a 3/3? If it's a pair of Death Shadows, it's different because of the Fury, so I'm not going to attack. The way they played that, it's almost like they had 2 more Death Shadows in hand. If they play none of them, I'm just going to attack next turn. It's probably counter spells. We're going to put Yorion in our hand here. Maybe a Ragavan. We'll know in a minute. What could this be? Okay, it was just like, your turn's over, let me fetch. Nope, what? Alright. What? Just cycling it? Shouldn't you do that in... I guess they were thinning. Fine. That's the second time I accidentally played around Dress Down by putting Yorion in my hand. That's what Yorion has been best for, making sure I play against Dress Down when I don't realize that's what's going on. So, keep that in mind. I think we play this before showing them we have a 4th land, because they may waste like a removal spell and not be like, oh, but if they top deck land next turn, I need to save this for Fury. Right, okay, see, that's what I was hoping for. They're contemplating using it on my Mog Fanatic. So there is a there seems to be a Drown in the Lock over there. It's a Terminate. Okay. No reason not to do this. They can drown in the lock any of my 5 drops now, no matter what. I kind of want to draw a land, but I also would like to get the Vitriome, but maybe I don't want that. Yeah, basic mountain is good enough, so who cares? Let's just keep the lands in the deck. Mog War Marshal is actually a good draw. Do I even play it and get it countered? Like, so good in play. And this Aether Vial is going to tick up. This could be Kolagon's command. Because they never put Gigantha in. It's Kolagon's command, I kind of regret it. Mog War Marshal is so embarrassing that if you counter that, you lose the game anyway. So, just do it. Imagine them countering Mog War Marshal and they could counter Fury next turn. How stupid would that be? They're gonna do it, but I still think it's right to play it, even if they counter it. I don't know, maybe not. Because it's Drown in the Lock and you can Aether Vial it, like, it's definitely different. Is this last card a counter spell? We're about to find out because we're gonna draw a land. Told you. Just gonna grab basic mountain. It is a counter spell. Damn. Oh no, it's a dress down. Okay. I'm okay with that because I can Yorion it next turn. I can also just attack you for 6. See if they drew a removal spell. Not yet, it looks like. They're digging. They put Fatal Push into their graveyard. They're going to Mishra's Bauble targeting me. Mishra's Bauble targeting me. They have to attack. Cannot block. I will send my lethal attacker at you. Turns out, won't do that. Only I had an Ephemerate. Ephemerate would be so sick here. So with an Ephemerate, I could swing, get first strike damage, and then I could Ephemerate Fury and put it at Death's Shadow. It would be so sick. I'm just gonna Yorion, right? It swings in the air. It kills Dragon's Rage Channeler. I was like, oh, do I not have white? No, I had white. And I'm not gonna reset my vial. I think that's silly. Comes back into play. Kill that thing. If they attack me with Death's Shadow, do I even block? Maybe with the Yorion. That would be like the best bluff. There's no bluffing going on. Engineered Explosives on X equals 1 to dig, but they can't draw. So that's fine. Do I just have to like clear their board? I really hope that I draw like something that draws a ton of cards. I don't think they realized that wiped out all their blockers because I didn't either. That was a mistake, but it is what it is. Just puts them dead on board. Yeah, you caught it, Dragon Powder, before either of us did. 3-0 with Yorion Goblins. And this has been some league so far. We really put them in some tough positions. Just a deck full of goblins. I mean, I consider this already a victory. We're going to see if we can close it out. But Going 3-0 with Yorion Goblins against these decks, no less. It's not like we're playing against nonsense. Although it is harder to beat nonsense with Yorion Goblins than it. I imagine just gonna fold to a Titan deck. Yorion is actually super relevant. That's the second match in a row where it closed it out against Death Shadow. I'm hoping for the Yoblin Gobbage 5-0. Love that Gobbage, and depending on what part you're from. My new favorite Goblins pun. They countered that Mog War Marshal, and then it meant they couldn't counter Yorion and just by the way, that was calculated. That was not. I had the option to wait and play patiently, but I kept the pressure on. D-Man cross the way. Is that Ugin? This hand looks like total garbage, but it has Aether Vial and Snoop, so I guess I have to keep it. It looks like total garbage because it's 4-drop, 4-drop, 5-drop Snoop. I will let them know that I'm Goblins immediately because it'll throw them off. Hopefully, after we reveal Yorion. They were playing Eldrazi-tron, which Snoop fixes all ails. I hope so. If we don't draw the land, it is an Urza's Mine. So this is Eldrazi-tron. Based on what what's that guy? The MTG bot. Based on what the MTG bot told us, this is Eldrazi-tron. Yeah, I was gonna say we do lean on the combo against. I want to be able to play. I want to be able to play Ephemerate if I draw it. So, and we already have black mana for all of the relevant spells. So, wow, just a whole ton of Snoops. We do rely on the combo against all of the Tron matchups, not just Eldrazi Tron, but Green Tron as well. So, it's House on 1, you got it. No more Ephemerate for us. Definitely not drawing a land, by the way. Needed. Harbinger on top, though, I'll take. They know I have this. I'll hit you for one. You think that we'll be able to pick this vial up? That's the only question. They could kill our vial. They can't take this from our hand. Can't take anything relevant from our hand. So it looks like we had it the whole time. Dragon Fodder was right, which is why these guys exist. Why this guy's slot. All right, we'll let it trigger. He has to target us, right? Yeah. I was gonna say we'll let it trigger. Maybe he targets himself. The D-Man. Snoop, Snoop, Snoop. Vial on 3. They must know they're dead, but if they don't, we'll show them. We have showed them nothing except Yorion that would suggest anything fishy going on. So it may be very difficult for them to board here. Ringleader on top is not what I want. You know what I want. I want a Kiki-Jiki on top. What did I tell you? No, didn't have it. The truth. Everybody speaks. Let's not misclick. Snoop, target himself. Snoop, target himself. Yep, I'm just gonna keep doing that. All right, so we combo Eldrazi-tron. We don't have Blood Moon, which is kind of bad for us. Stony Silence, probably pretty bad as well. They have big ol' things, so these might matter. Crater Maker, probably good. Sting Scourger, probably not so good. We could cut Vials and Pyres because they're going to play Karn. They're probably pretty bad top decks. Does that mean we want to put Goblin Dark Dwellers in? Probably. So, like, I think I keep Pyre because Chalice on 1 is pretty likely. And then maybe you just keep 1 and 2. And then, do I want Furies? Furies are okay against Thought-Knot Seer, but like, you're probably not going to be able to Fury Ephemerate a Thought-Knot Seer because it's ripping apart your hand before you can do that. So if I brought it in, I would want 1. I think I like just the full value Goblin Dark Dwellers package for this, and then kind of trying to mull for combo. That being said, maybe, so I always say this in regular Goblins matches, Aether Vial counts as lands when you mull low for combo. So maybe I do want all of these. On the draw, though, maybe not. On the, okay. On the draw, I'm going to go with this. And on the play, I think I leave it as is. And or maybe I shave a Chain Whirler. Maybe I should just shave a Chain Whirler now. I don't think Chain Whirler is very good here. I actually think I want 3 pop. I'd like to draw a Pyre over a Vial. Maybe not. It's actually really hard. I'm not sure. I don't know how to board against Eldrazi with this deck because it's like, you're probably not gonna find the combo, right? I mean, we just did, but that doesn't mean that you're going to. Wow, this is kind of an embarrassing hand. This is just bad in this matchup in general, even if I could cast all these spells. So, thankfully, these 2 basic mountains aren't as embarrassing as they seem. This is pretty terrible too. I'll mulligan one more time. I'm gonna mulligan. Maybe I don't want to mulligan if my whole game plan was like play the late game, but that doesn't make sense against Ballista, does it? I think I need something better than this. Turn 1, Mog Fanatic. Turn 2, nothing. Turn 3, Matron. Turn 4, Ringleader, I guess. Could lead to a long game. Go back to Kiki-Jiki. If you get Thought-Knot Seared, you're just like, sorry. Alright, I guess you keep this. Yes, you keep. You just need lands for a hand like this, and Kiki-Jiki. I don't know. Maybe we just draw Snoop Harbinger. Still time to do it. Don't. I guess we get to play Savai Triumph tapped. Temple into mine. Don't care about Matter Reshaper ever. A really good blocker because we don't want to give them lands, but doesn't really do anything else fast enough. If this is a smasher, then we are very close to dead already. That's trample. I think that I need... Do I just start blocking this? Is 2 hits from it. Saves a turn off the clock. I'm going to play Matron next turn to get a Snoop, and then I just need to draw Harbinger and hope they don't have removal. So, like, I think I just need time. And maybe this Ringleader will have to do. So, yeah. And I may have to, like, take some damage from my lands, which this adds up with. Maybe it's not as bad as I first said. Crib Swap, interesting. Could kill this. It cost me 2 cards in my whole turn. There's no convenient spot to play it on the curve after next turn. right? But I could draw 1-drop. If I kill this, I'm then on like a 5-turn clock, which gives me a lot more time. I think I'm gonna do this and discard the Mesa. And then Warping Whale only counters sorceries. All right, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this. I want to have gain 5 life. Yeah, that is what I meant. That's a good way to summarize it. When I said there's no convenient spot on the curve, like, that is what it comes down. You're not going to be able to really do it. Wait, what? Why didn't I get an opportunity to discard? Did I okay through it? I didn't even see it trigger. Whoops. Obviously I wanted a discard. That feels dumb. I mean, we now have no turns left. I have to draw Mog Fanatic. No, I'm just dead. Actually, I'm just dead. There's nothing I could draw. Yeah, I know I'm supposed to discard a card. I didn't see that I had an opportunity. It was just on the stack, and I thought I was okaying, and it would highlight my hand, but I didn't. We weren't drawing out of it. Like, holy crap. Assuming that we matron for Snoop, and then our deck was, you know, this is still random draws. We would then have drawn this. We would have played either Snoop or Ringleader, probably Snoop. And we would have Ringleadered the turn where we drew another land. Oh, we were just drawing all lands. I mean, I guess not punished, but that felt bad. Obviously, I didn't do that on purpose. That kind of felt terrible. I've done. So I don't really want to play the long game, so we'll take out a Ringleader. Blinking is actually good. Memory protects our combo. Mog Fanatic, not great. Does block, but not things that matter. Actually, it helps us against Thought-Knot Seer. What else is good enough? Tough. Like, what do I take out here? Heals Yorion? Yeah. Well, I think, maybe Battlecry Goblin just isn't that good here. It is like a 4-mana play. Blocks early. Could theoretically give us haste. It also pyres into Harbinger. Maybe mulling low for combo here. We wouldn't have gotten there, is like what I keep telling myself. So, okay that misclick happened, but it does suck that. Now this is a snap keep. This is a snap keep. Now, let's see if they mulligan. They have Warping Whales, and they have Dismembers. If we draw an Ephemerate, I will wait to play the Snoop so I can play around both of those cards. But if not, I think I'm just slamming. Dismember. Yeah, I think I'm just slamming. This may be Dismember right here. Feels good to know we wouldn't have drawn it next turn either, but yes, it's Dismember. I think I'm just gonna Boggart Harbinger something good to the top of my library, maybe like a Ringleader. Because they have no pressure. They're playing an Urza Sock. Maybe I just put another Snoop on top of my library, because then next turn I can Munitions Expert plus Snoop. Then Ephemerate isn't out to the combo. Yorion is also an out to the combo. So, like, that's probably fine. If we're just leaning on combo, let's do it. They know about this cavern, so we'll play this off of the cavern, but maybe I shouldn't have done that. No, because I can still get a white land with this. I was going to say maybe I wanted to name Snake with this Yorion, with this Cavern of Souls for Yorion, but this is fine. So we'll get Snoop here. And we're just going to hope that this is like... We're going to hope they don't have Needle, first of all. Although we have Trashmaster in hand, so Needle's not the biggest deal. Just slows us down another turn. A serpent, not a snake. Bird serpent. You're right. I hope I would have been smart enough to check before just naming. It is so absurd that they changed Dryad of the Elysian Grove to be a Dryad just based on its name. No, it was stupid that they missed it in the first place. But it's stupid that they did that, and yet Serpent and Snake are not this. Serpent, Snake, Naga. I know you've definitely seen that around, but like, okay. Why are Serpent and Snake not the same? Can you name a serpent that isn't a snake? Are eels serpents? That true? Eels not snakes? They're sea snakes, aren't they? Maybe they're not. I don't know. Is that really super relevant? Hound and wolf and dog, yeah. Wolf and dog I would get. Wolf and hound I would get. Hound and dog is dumb. Hound and dog is very dumb. So they specifically Squirm it, and also how's it going? They specifically made it so that the Kamigawa creatures were snakes. Like that was the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like they have feet. Nagas are just like big giant snake people, but like that was like a purposeful thing. But there are some Nagas in the Magic universe that are just called snakes. What? Hounds are dogs now? Did they errata that? It's like the only format it could matter for is there, right? So they're somehow less snake, exactly. But you're not wrong, but they are just snakes that have legs. So are they thinking about warping whaling my Boggart Harbinger? I don't know what they disconnect. They haven't disconnected. I don't know what the D-Man is doing. Maybe they were just looking for the stream and then they heard me complain and they're just gonna Urza suck, right? I want the option to redraw. And okay. Yeah. So they're not gonna counter this, right? They can't counter. So let's leave our black mana up. We can't play this off the top, but we have another one in hand, which is fine. If it becomes relevant, we can still play a munitions. Do I want to kill this munitions expert now before it's a 3/3? Don't think it matters. But I am gonna have to fetch before they do, because they can just Bloodstain Mire. They can just name Bloodstain Mire with a needle or something. I have Trashmaster, so I don't really care. I think I pass. Maybe I let them needle my Bloodstain Mire. They don't know what's in my hand. They kind of have to needle. I am going to redraw this one way or another, though. I'd love to see Ephemerate on top. Is Etron black now? Oh, yeah. That's a good point. I guess Dismember I don't know. What is the black card that they're splashing for? I know there's like a lot of black big mana running around because Profane Tutor and Oak Despair, but like there's no way Etron is playing Oak Despair. Grab an Expedition map, probably to go get an Eldrazi thing. Eldrazi Temple? I guess they could just grab another Tron piece. They grab another Tron piece. They have 2 mana here. I'm gonna look for an Ephemerate because Ephemerate just wins. But this does have to grab Sacred Foundry. I cannot forget that. Although with Magic Online you can see what's on top before you decide if you pay life. Oh man. Well, that kind of sucks. Let's see if maybe we can keep this Munitions Expert on top. So let's Sacred Foundry. Another Snoop, you say? That's pretty good. Do I want to Munitions Expert this? Do I actually care? I think I do, just to pressure their life total as well after they've double dismembered. And when I finally cast Yorion, it'll be good to have the Munitions Expert as well as like the plan B. So, I'm gonna cast Snoop. I could do 5 to them. I don't think that's relevant. I'm just putting Yorion in my hand because it kills them next turn. They've already drawn 2 Dismembers. Chances of another one are low. Waste is basic. Oh, yes. That's interesting. They're just doing it as a value Boseiju fetcher, but there used to be red versions of Eldrazi, so you'd think Mountain would be the thing you get. No? But apparently not. So they can nab my Yorion here, but then I kill Thought-Knot Seer and I draw again. I'm assuming they have a Thought-Knot Seer with 4 mana, but something like a Karn just doesn't do it. There have been red Prison Eldrazi decks. And when I say Prison, they're playing Chalice and Blood Moon. And Wastes instead of the Mines, I think. The Tron pieces. I'm not sure. But I know there's been more red Eldrazi deck than any other color. Don't know. So if it's... Okay, it's Walking Ballista on 2. So you have to kill Snoop here, right? And then... I guess you could kill Harbinger. But if you kill Harbinger to stop my combo, like, I'm still drawing off the top with Snoop and stuff. This is sort of forced. I don't think that you can not kill Snoop. Like, if I play... I'm not going to play Yorion. I'm going to play Trash Master, or I'm going to flash in Munitions Expert to try and draw, like, Ephemerate or something. Eldrazi Obligator was... Yeah, that was the red one. That... I guess they are waiting to see what I draw? Or maybe they're just waiting for me to cast this? I can't cast Yorion with this in play. So I am going to flash this in at my upkeep, if they allow me to. Another Harbinger. Not the worst. It means I can put another Snoop on top. Oh. You draw Harbinger, Play Harbinger. I guess an All is Dust would kind of suck if they slam a Tron piece. Maybe I was supposed to get Battlecry Goblin there instead of Snoop. I sided 1 out, not 2. I mean, Crashmaster, like, does sort of the same thing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. 2, 4. And this is already... Yeah, okay. So maybe you don't get Battlecry. Maybe... I don't know. I probably was supposed to get Battlecry Goblin. I don't know what this could be. I am not gonna play Snoop. I'm gonna present lethal. Uncounterable lethal. Exile my graveyard to try and draw a card. Relic. I don't think this member does it here, even though they can pay 2. Yeah. Wow, 4-0. 4-0. We, you know, I said that we're not like as consistent a combo. We're not as fast a combo. But we literally just fetched out our Snoops one at a time with Boggart Harbingers and threatened to kill them. So, like, while pressuring their life total, that was pretty crazy. So we're 4-0 right now. These are the stats that got Luris banned. 100% of Yorion Goblins decks that started 4-0 or better are about to convert to 5-0. That's what I hope? Not 0%. It's definitely more interesting. I don't know if it's fair that even my Goblins deck is allowed to play Yorion. I have to be honest. Like, I know there's a better Yorion deck out there. 4-color Yorion. I'm playing Yorion to try and compete with that. I don't know. I don't think anybody should be allowed to play Yorion perfectly. We won the die roll against HN Magician. We reveal Yorion. This is a fantastic hand. File, Fanatic, Harbinger that we can reset with Yorion, etc., etc. Unfortunately, we have to get a Savai Triome with this Arid Mesa. So, like, yeah, I agree that Yorion should have been X'd. Okay, this is so all of this bragging may end up coming back to bite us, because, like, this is just Glimpse combo, and this is a can you combo me before turn 3 matchup. There's really not a lot else going on here. We're going to try to keep their permanent count low. We're going to fetch a Savai Triome. And, like, we're kind of just crossing our fingers here. Like, you can pressure them. It doesn't really matter. All you can do is keep their permanent count low and then hope that their glimpses are bad. And, like, talk about a coin flip. Like, yes, this is a coin flip. Okay, so we do have a turn 4 combo, I think, or turn 5. So next turn we get to tick up to 3, find Snoop, play Snoop. They likely can, you know, glimpse, and then you're just like, please don't hit Fury, please don't hit Fury. That's it. As foretold. Okay, as foretold is interesting. As foretold means this could just be Rhinos instead of Glimpse. Okay, they're just gonna Glimpse right now. Oh my god. Can I beat this? I'm about to Annihilator 6. Maybe I can beat this if I draw a land? I actually don't know. That sucked. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I am gonna... I need to keep the Vial and the Snoop, which I'm not sure I can do. 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be my 5th permanent, and it's Annihilator 6. Ah, fuck. I guess I can get Mog War Marshal and keep the Vial. I think we're just dead. If I was main decking Warren Weirding, I wouldn't be just dead, which is interesting. Which is interesting. If there's a Skirk Prospector into some nonsense, maybe I can do it. Mog War Marshal would only work if I already had a Snoop in play. I don't think this works. It's only the second part of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we just don't have a way to make mana afterwards. All right. Kiki being on top doesn't kill them. Kiki being on top, we would be drawing this. You make infinite Snoops, but you don't have a way to... We would have to sack Vial, so we can't put Pashlik Mons in to end it. I didn't think of that, but it also doesn't work. Unfortunately for us. So, okay. Can't keep Expert either. Oh, wait. Yeah, I can't keep Expert either to kill Emrakul, if that's what you were thinking, yeah. Actually, they have protection from colored spells, so this doesn't do anything. I mean... Who knows what... I get... We just want to keep their board clear. Crater Maker kills Emrakul. We're trying to be fast. Fast and keep the board clear. So, like, all this. Sting Scourger does bounce. Correct. I forgot that I even had that on the board, to be perfectly honest. I guess I'll board out another Ringleader. We can board out, like, Battlecry Goblins. War Marshals are vaguely relevant for Annihilator 6 triggers. But, I'm willing to shave one. Let's see. I mean, no, they can just glimpse into an Emrakul, and that's all they've got, just like then, and then you just... I could have... Had I had Sting Scourger in my deck, I just bounce that Emrakul, and I'm fine. So, it is a good call. Ephemerate, Fury, Harbinger, Fire. So Fury and Ephemerate is enticing. Fire is enticing. Not having the 1-drop to Pyre into Snoop sucks. The Ephemerate not doing a ton other than Blinking Fury, which doesn't matter that much. I think I mulligan this. It's like, it's actually closer than it probably looks, but I'm gonna mulligan. Snoop Matron, gotta keep. I don't know. I'm probably never playing this Mog War Marshal, right? Like, theoretically, I could be looking for Harbinger, although probably not. I guess I'll throw back Ringleader. Play it. Pass it. So we need to draw a land. Yeah, that was the thing that tipped it over the top. It's just like, I'm going to have the cards I want. What is like the worst case scenario? I guess Mog War Marshal out there. But this is exactly the kind of deck you don't do. And all the rest of the decks we played are exactly the deck you do want to play Yorion. So it's turning out how you would expect. We could still play, by the way, Necromentia in the board, and we don't. I completely forgot about that card as I was building the sideboard today. I wanted to try out a bunch of the white cards. They gonna kill this? Kill this. They're just gonna glimpse the shit out of me. I don't even think that I'm supposed to play this Snoop because Fury kind of just gets me off of a glimpse. Now I'm gonna play the Snoop. Man, as foretold into Glimpse Emrakul. That's how it happened to me. We need a land on top here and a Harbinger underneath it. That's step 1. I can't wait for step 2. Going to preemptively, just like Nassif preparing his lands for that rule ultimatum. And all right, well, they get 5 things here. Please don't get 5 good things. Not even a single Fury. Okay, guys. We did our best. Glimpse combo got us. Did I just dropped like 1,000 frames? My internet connection just got really bad. You can see it's red down here. Luckily, it's the end of the stream. Well, we did our best. We got by the thing that is gonna get us. We'll open these chests as a celebration. Yorion performed really well. I don't know if it's unlucky. Glimpse is a deck, and people play it in the late night queues for sure. We beat 4 really good decks. I guess Eldrazi-Tron's not really good, but we beat 4 real decks. We lost to Glimpse, which is a real deck, just not a real deck that we can interact with. You know, we could still be playing Void Mirrors. We chose not to, just to try this stuff out. Conceding sort of that, like, not willing to concede the graveyard matchups. Maybe I should have been. But saying, like, probably not finding winner, so just play other things in higher numbers. But Cascade is still really good. So, like, could probably be Void Mirrors and Chalices. Maybe not Chalice, but Void Mirror. The deck felt great. There's really not a lot to say about it. Yorion was relevant. We were clowning on Death Shadow decks. Yeah, let's open these chests in celebration. We'll open them one at a time so we know how many play points we get from each. It's gonna be 5, but I just wanna highlight that it's 5. This is played. I don't think it's worth anything, but it is played. This is not played, even though it looks 1,000 times cool. This is so sick. This should be my fucking commander. Oh man, that is cool. Just hitting Emrakul. I mean, they've got to be playing for Emrakul, right? To do that to us. A Dakon, not worth anything. Sudden spoiling, which that beats us. Yeah, it wasn't a bad league. I am gonna continue to play this. Would have been fantastic if I could have 5-0'd with basically the first league out with this configuration of the deck. This card is interesting. I don't think it's good enough to really. Nobody's gonna. It was always interesting. What do we get? Clarion Ultimatum and Flagstones. I think Flagstones is no. It's definitely worth something in paper. But E-price Flagstones of Trocaire. It looks like we got garbage. That's fine. because we don't need any new cards. So maybe Stony Silence doesn't seem necessary. It was just cool that I could play it. I think you still want Rest in Peace. I think you definitely want Warren Weird. I don't know if Crib Swap is worth it. Maybe Crib Swap is worth it. We had a lot of stuff to board in against Emrakul, and we just like didn't there. It seems like we're so good against creature decks that these Furies aren't necessary, even though they're good with Ephemerate. So the first thing I'm gonna do without thinking, and maybe it's not the right thing to do, is put these Void Mirrors in the board for next time. I guess one Chalice as the third Void Mirror, since it turns out I only have 2. I have 4 Chalices. And yeah, that's I'll run it like this the next time I do run it. Maybe you even cut one of the Rest in Pieces for a second Chalice so you have more Cascade Hate, but like totally reactionary. But those Glimpse decks are going to be bad for us. All those Cascade decks, like Living End, is probably not that bad for us, but it's probably worse. Anyway, thank you for joining me. If you're watching here for the first time, just follow so you can get notifications. You can come chat with us. Join the Goblins Discord so you can chat with us all the time. If you're watching on YouTube, come over, follow on Twitch, because it's great talking to people in chat. It's like streaming. So I hope to see you next time. Thank you again. Want this list? Post it on Twitter. So you can follow my Twitter. Ask for it in the Goblins Discord. That's the easiest. Yeah. I'm gonna keep playing this. Have a good night, everybody.